All right, welcome everyone. We have got podcast number 100, the man, the myth. We got Bob Menery in the building. Bob, how's it going?
I'm doing all right. It's an honor to be number 100. It shows how horrible your show is doing if I'm your fucking 100th guest.
I was hoping you weren't going to go that direction, but that is, that's how it is, bro. I appreciate that. You're the guy. You're the poster for this. So, I appreciate it. Tell us a little bit what you got going on. You're all over the place. I'm following the Instagram stories. You're on benders. We had to delay the podcast twice today, which I knew going in was possible, right? You're in the mix. It was a little aggressive to go 11 a.m. Your time was it? What happened? Give us last night. First of all, do you have a big night or is it just catching up from travel? What's going on?
Well, last night I got off the plane and I decided, I said, hey, let's go out for one drink. We're back in LA. We'll hit the ground running tomorrow. Cause my mentality is kind of like work hard, play hard, whatever.
Yeah.
So we did decide to turn one on a little bit last night. So I apologize for missing the thing, whatever it is, Jeff Gross podcast 100th episode that
it's all good. Listen, it's not a problem. I got to know though. I got your man Timmy bounce back. The guy's a legend. I love watching. He's always he's entertaining. What was he involved at least? Did you have a night out with Timmy? Or
no. Timmy is. I've not seen Timmy in a little bit, but we have to reunite because he is. Timmy loves to gamble, loves to drink, and likes to do all the things that I like to do as well. So. But we just got back from Abu Dhabi, which was the big thing. We flew 17 hours out to Abu Dhabi, went out to Fight Island. I was only there for 48 hours. I had to quarantine in a hotel by myself and then fly back because I had some reasons I had to get home. But the Nelk boys we were out there with, and it was wild. I was a little scared that the laws in Saudi Arabia aren't.
Nah, the Ripper Magoo crew, that they're in jeopardy for sure. You don't want to get like the Bali whatever and get locked up. You don't want to mess around. Like go internationally, get zapped here and there. But when you're over in some different areas and rules, you got to be a little careful.
If you get caught, Jeff, if you get caught with this much weed, a dot of weed, it's automatically, I guess, what is it, Scott? 4 years in prison, or 80 lashings, or 80 lashings. Like, can you imagine being whipped 80 times?
No, and I'll tell you what. I went over to, I think, the similar rules. We went to the Maldives right after in 2012. I was with Phelps, who I think you guys have battled a bit. Some cards. He was over there. Antonio. We go over with the poker set, and when we got at the airport, they confiscated our poker chips in 2012. They literally took them and just, there's no like not even like a play set. They just don't want to have anything on it. So I get it, man. Gambling.
There's no rules. There's no rules. I mean, you're not protected over there at all. I mean, if they can do whatever the fuck they want. So I was just like, I was on my best behavior. So that's kind of why I went so hard last night. I needed to get one good final zinger out of my system before we get back to work.
Tell me about the Fight Island, because UFC, what's going on, COVID, all this. How was it? Was it exciting? I mean, it's unique, it's different. How was the atmosphere and what was it like there?
I mean, those guys stayed a lot longer than I did, but Dana did a great job. What they did was they had this 10-mile like radius set up, a safe zone. So you'd get off the airport, off the plane, you'd get in the car, they drive you like 10 minutes, and you go in this like, I don't know, this like sectioned off part of Abu Dhabi, and I didn't really even get to see it. I went in literally to the hotel room. The testing people came in individually for 48 hours. And then after that, I left. So it wasn't, it's those guys, it would be better to talk about it. I'm actually very jealous now. Like, I didn't think I'd be going through jealousy phase, but they got to ride camels. They were doing the Formula fucking 100 cars. But Dana, hats off to Dana. Dana was like the first one during this whole pandemic to, take a chance and just be like, I'm just going to resume my sport. And it kind of worked out for him. So
yeah, it seems like it's going well. And those at home, you have a bit of a poker background. Obviously, this is we like poker. We talk a lot of poker here, but you have some experience as well. Back in the day, you used to play. Do you play online a fair amount, or what is your actual poker? I guess repertoire. What's your experience with poker?
I mean, I used to love, there was nothing better than like the Sunday Millions on Poker Stars. And I know that you guys do the party poker. You have connections with them and whatnot. I used to 6, 7 table, but I mean, I wouldn't say I'm that good, but I definitely know the game. My game was heads up. I enjoyed playing heads up games.
Okay.
I enjoyed the turbos, not the hyper turbos were just usually when you were like down a shitload of money and you're just like, fuck it. And playing nine, just dumping chips to people or dumping money to people. But yeah, heads up was my game, and I'm actually surprised that we haven't played our game yet. I don't want to play you, but I kind of do.
We should probably do a little of that. That's it's a fun game, but now you're more focused on the overall Bob Menery experience. For those that most people in sports and stuff know about you and know who you are, what you do. Can you just give a little background, how you kind of got into where you're at right now, and what you're sort of just run us back through your give us the whole deal, growing up, and then how you got to where you are now. And you have a very successful Zap podcast, which we'll cover as well. But kind of give me like the upbringing and the trajectory that put you here today. Like just run through.
Yeah. I mean, basically, I was not doing this, 4 years ago. So I was carrying golf bags at a country club for rich people, and would sometimes commentate their swings and fuck around with them, as I was caddying, not on camera or anything like that, because I didn't have this social media stuff. But I got lucky one day. I just had I went home at like 28 years old, didn't have the most success in LA trying to be an actor comedian, and came back, moved in with my parents, who just downsized to the 2-bedroom apartment, and our rooms were right next to each other. And the funny thing is, when I started doing my basically what I do is R-rated sports commentary for people to know. I had a good voice, and I just decided to layer over, my voice over actual sports clips, and kind of gained some steam on social. And there we are, right there, as he's showing you 2.8 million followers later. It's pretty fun. So.
I saw a clip about you going viral. You did kind of talk about that moment and what that means. And I guess what I don't understand, because you're coined the golden voice in broadcasting, or a man with the golden voice, which is a pretty high praise. That's an important thing. I guess what I find hard to understand is like how this just happened, where like it went viral like that. Like I would think if you're in LA, you're in Hollywood, you're around, people know you, you talk to people. Like, did you never get that? Did you not know that you had such a prolific voice? Like, I'm just a little.
I knew I had the voice. I would do it in high school, like fucking with people. The first time I remember memory I have of like doing it was I was sitting with my buddy in the car, and it was like senior year, I think, and there was this older lady in the car next to us, and we had our windows rolled down, both of us, and I just randomly like broke into like ends like Tom Brady, or it wasn't Brady then. I mean, who was it? Fucking 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I would do that, just make up some spoofy kind of thing with my voice and just fuck with the lady, and that was the first memory I have of doing it. But the moment of going viral actually happened it was 2 a.m. I was on a music video set for my buddy, and we ended up, some guy took out his phone, just recorded me doing that shtick where I'm like, doing my shtick, and I woke up the next day, and it was like I thought somebody died because my phone was like going off. Right. And I guess I had experienced going viral, which was first picked up by Bro Bible, I think, was the first media outlet to just kind of grab it, and then from there kind of just spread on its own.
So you're doing caddy work, you're sort of just, you're hanging out, you're in the zone, doing whatever, and then next thing you know, you go viral. Was it literally like overnight? Did you like, I got to get, I saw again an interview talking about managers, agents, people calling you to like do stuff. Was it instant? Like, was it just like instantly like, I'm in business, like this is real? Or did it take a little bit of time to know that you had something really special? Because like people go viral doesn't mean they, they're getting gigs or they're going to.
Right. Or they keep like, sustain it, like those people. Yeah. I think that what I was good at was there was a certain point where I hit like something like a light switch just went off in my head. Like after the video went viral, 2 things could have happened. You could have fallen off the map and never been heard of again. Or what I decided to do was start like social media accounts and really focusing on like where the world and all the eyeballs are at right now. It's all this shit. And just kept continuing to make video game glitches. Those are my favorite to do. Like, where you're playing like Madden and the guy's arm flies off or something. And the guy's like, just the announcer is just calling it like it's a normal play. But I'm like, what the fuck just happened? His arm fell off. And so started to do kind of like those things. But I don't know. It's been a grind though. I haven't even processed it. To be honest with you, when people ask me, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been a blur.
Right. It makes sense. And it's probably one of those things too, where it's just every day there's something we getting asked, or you're kind of going, you're in Abu Dhabi, you're going to Boston, you're going to Chicago. There's obviously sports betting now legal at a federal level. I mean, sports betting, DraftKings, FanDuel, all that, daily fantasy, all this stuff is just, it's sort of right in your wheelhouse. So how do you, tell me about your team a little bit. I saw, it looks like, I've seen the people, Timmy Bounce Back and some of these other guys that are around, and you have managers and agents, but like, give me an actual idea of what your team consists of and what goes into sort of your operations for the podcast and everything that you do.
Yeah. I mean, we have a kind of smaller team. I mean, the goal is obviously to expand, and kind of put some real money behind this. And because I think the Rip Magoo brand is very strong, like our merch sales are crushing it. We're getting ready for Christmas right now, which is coming up, and all those, my favorite time of the year, the ugly Christmas sweaters that we're going to hopefully be rocking. Right now, we're waiting on that stuff. The merch site that you're seeing right now is basically coming up. Scott, when are we doing that merch drop? November 15th. So we'll have all our stuff ready to go. We sold out of every drop pretty much so far. And
what's the hot item? What are we looking at here? What's your favorite?
Well, there's nothing. There shouldn't be anything on the side, I believe, when you click it. So there shouldn't be anything there. And November 15th, it'll all be out. All different, mostly Christmas shit. Funny T-shirts, slogans on T-shirts, and stuff like that. And I love Christmas. I love a big Christmas guy. So
that's very exciting. What do your parents think of this? Who's more supportive, your mom, your dad? Are they kind of like, is this wild to them to see you caddying one day and then all of a sudden go viral? Now you got your store, you got your own podcast. You're just, running around the world, going to Abu Dhabi, doing UFC. Is this kind of like, what do they think of everything?
My mom has no fucking clue what's going on. She's like, I just don't get it. Like, what happened? And I'm just like, Mom, I don't fucking know either. And then my dad's just losing his mind, running around town singing Frank Sinatra. He's at 65 years old. He's a crooner, they call it.
Okay.
So he decided the life insurance business, it was time to go and go on tour more than fucking Maroon 5 in their prime in the local town. Okay. So if I hear Summer Wind one more time and my dad sing it, I'm gonna fucking blow my head off.
And what is home base? You grew up tell me before you were doing what were you doing, like you went to high school, college, you grew up in Boston? Yeah,
I really wanted to be an actor. I was like, that was my goal in life, was to be an actor. And so I went to acting school. I spent some time in New York City at the New York Film Academy. It was kind of weird, You ever been to an acting class before, Jeff?
Nope.
Yeah, well, they have exercises that are kind of fucked up sometimes, and there was one in particular that kind of turned me off. The one where we had to all walk around the room and pretend we were an animal, and so I got assigned like a giraffe. There was like 8 people walking around the room with like animals. I'm like, fuck this shit. This is just too weird, and so kind of just bailed out of there. So I gave the acting gig a run for a little bit.
And did you ever was there ever a time, like, have you stand up or some other stuff, like in the acting, did you ever go with your voice and sort of really dive into a character or do a scare? You never really had that opportunity in those scenarios that made sense. Like, did you ever like?
I never did like stand up and specifically. I never did. I had a lot of fear for some reason. The fear is like I had fear of going on stage. I would sign up. I would go to certain like comedy clubs and shit, sign up, and like my name would get closer. I'd just like run away like pussy. I just had fear for some reason. But I think fear goes away with, when you get a little bit more confident. And so I think we have along the way. And so the question is, though, would I do stand up right now? I don't know. Would I, Scooty?
And the Zap podcast, tell me about this. So you got the Zap podcast. I think it was number one on Apple.
That's our favorite. That's our baby right there.
All right, let's hit it. Let's cover it. So this thing's blown up. I think it was one of the highest rated or quickest growing. Tell me a little bit about what is Zap to you? What does that mean? And
Zap is going out, partying, having a good time. Now we're talking my language, Jeff. Now I'm getting excited here.
All right, tell me about it. Give me what that. Where does that word? I actually never heard it until you, and I love it. It makes a lot of sense. I love the logo. I love the whole deal. How did that come? Did you come up with that? Did your team? What is Zap to you?
Zap, me and Timmy Bounce Back came up with it. We used to have our old show, and then just through Ripper Magoo's, and then we had this one now. And yeah, Zap just means having a good time, getting fucked up, and getting in a responsible way, I guess. And yeah.
Is Timmy more of like a great friend, a confidant? Is he a partner? What is Timmy Bounce Back in this within your whole situation?
He's like a partner in crime. So when we decide to turn one on, like Timmy and I'll go to breakfast together. If it's dangerous, if we go to different. For anybody that doesn't know Timmy, he's the greatest, he's the biggest heart in the world, but he's got some vices. He likes to gamble. He loves the horses. There's never a time where you go over his house and TVG isn't streaming on 15 fucking different TVs. And so Timmy and I know if we meet at breakfast at like 6 a.m., it's bad news because we'll both have that twinkling in our eyes and we'll just say, hey, let's turn one on. And we just turn it on sometimes and go out and party. I mean, if you haven't seen our TikTok videos, because people take TikTok very seriously, and we've amassed 2.5 million followers on TikTok, and I don't know why people follow us because it's only me and Timmy getting fucking fucked up in a hotel room going wild.
I've seen someone on Instagram. I haven't got the TikTok's the one thing I haven't dove into yet, and I have here. It makes a lot of sense, and I see how that would be. You could easily grow super fast there. Tell me a little bit about like the monetization and how it works with. I think this is something nowadays it's so popular. If you have a big following, there's ways you can monetize, but maybe could you share some of the economics, like in general? Like, is most of what you do, is it based off of like you go to Abu Dhabi, you do some sports stuff? Are you getting like individual deals? Like I think the Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Like, how does
Yeah,
that?
there's many different. I mean, you can use your platform for so many ways to generate revenue. I mean, I think what we're not doing as well as we should be doing is we could be hitting the YouTube world a little bit harder. For me personally, like the vlogging thing, it's just everybody's like, oh, you should do vlogs. You do all these cool things. You're playing golf with Steph Curry. You have your own race car, NASCAR that you got. You got all this stuff. I just I get a little. I just don't want a camera like in my face the whole entire time. Like I want to feel like I kind of live a. I like to just capture it from my thing real quick and I'm out.
I'm totally with you because that same sort of thing I do, YouTube highlights. I also do some vlogging, but it is kind of like when you're in these moments in these spots, it's kind of like you're with your close friends or people that also are the coolest stuff is the stuff where the guys that you're with are they're private. You're trying to have a moment. Yeah, you got your YouTube. They're on guard. Maybe they're drink and they shouldn't, and they're a big figure, and it's or whatever. Or they are people they don't want to show that. It is kind of awkward, right? Like
I think it just exactly. That's the mentality that I have as well. It's like you to somebody really you don't never know if somebody wants a camera in their face as well. So it's just like I just don't want to deal with it. But there's other ways. Our merch is a big part of our business. Obviously, we have other stuff that comes from like a big following. Like we got the Buffalo Wild Wings deal, which is awesome. We're building a relationship with like Monster Energy. We're doing a partnership with PointsBet, which is the gambling company that is I think it's Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Jersey right now, 4 states that is legal. So we kind of are going on a tour. Hopefully upcoming in the next few weeks. Abiding by all coronavirus regulations, obviously.
Right.
I've had 77,000 tests. I could have bought fucking 2 jet skis with the amount of corona tests I've had. And guess what? Big surprise. All of them came up negative. Can you believe it?
It is the coronavirus stuff is it's been a crazy year. There's
nobody knows what the fuck's going on. And by the way, I was so paranoid. Remember when this shit hit the fan, obviously, and everybody's like, what the fuck's going on? Yeah. Coronavirus. And then boom, it was like, all right, this is serious. I was the most paranoid guy on planet Earth. I had security outside of our place for no reason. Because we really didn't have anything in there too valuable. Because Scott designed the house. There was just like a couch and a fucking TV. Scott, you did a shitty ass job with that, by the way. But we're dudes. Like we got this. We actually have this house that we moved into, our old house. Move in. There's no furniture or anything. I'm like, Scott, I'm going to trust you on this. You're going to do it. I'm coming back. Just do it however you think it should look. So I go out for a week, come back. Scott decorates the place. He's like so proud of himself. He's like, yeah, we fucking nailed it. I walk in. There's like 2 TVs on the wall, like a couch and like a plant. And we're dudes. So we just didn't do anything about it. So we lived in that environment for like 3 months and just worked nonstop.
And what in terms of the COVID and the election coming up and everything, do you have? I don't want to spend time on politics. I just not even who you like or whatever. Who do you think is going to win this election? Just who do you think actually gets it done? Forget about who you want or not. Nothing. No.
Yeah, I don't really. I honestly, I don't want to give. I don't know. I have no idea, and I've kind of stepped back away from it. It's just too much in a sense of. The country is so torn. We're in such a bad place, and so it's just. I'm just hoping that fucking everything
as well. I mean, that's how I kind of say. Like, I'm not following it. I don't know. Like, you see that you can like now with the fake news stuff, and just like you see the rallies or see polls. It's just hard to know really what's really happening, and people just say and promise. And it's kind of sad that nowadays. I mean, this has been like this for a while, but each candidate, like their videos are now about like the other guy, how bad they are, how corrupt they are. That's like what you see. It's sort of it's a bit of a
the
shame.
Debates are very comical, though. It is actually as horrible as it's given this kind of situation the country's in. It's the clap. Trump is like just fucking hilarious. Like
we're in a simulation, right? I mean, we're in the Matrix, no question. It's some crazy shit where it's a weird time. What about sports betting and all this? Like, is this something that sports been in your blood? Like, you love it? Like, have you always loved commentating or looking at games? Like, would a dream job for you or a dream spot to be calling what sport? What would be your like dream gig if you could just like go call Monday Night Football or what? What would be your
I mean, I think the easiest one is baseball because it's a little bit slower. In baseball, you can be like, it's easier, at least for me, because I'm not like a real fucking commentator.
Right.
Like, let's just be honest here, guys. But because baseball's easy. Baseball's like 3-2 count. Here's the pitch, and that is high and outside for a ball. Beautiful day here at Orioles Stadium. Bob Menery, like it's slower. Football, obviously a little bit faster. Hockey is impossible. I mean, that's why I admire Doc Emmerich who I believe is the best. You know, the guy that's like, Krejci, back to this guy, fires on the right side, like that guy, and he's nonstop. It's like he's just railing lines of like blow up in his fucking thing. And
all that game on, like just absolute nonstop. You're right. Baseball seems right up your.
I would do football though. Football would be sick, but the fans have to be there. Imagine doing it in an empty stadium and like having it just must be so weird.
It is. It's a bizarre time. What about in terms of projects? So is that fair to say? Is that the podcast? Is that are you going to be someone that takes on the road, or do you want to have your set studio? You have people come through. What's the blueprint, or are you just winging it?
That's the golden question. I mean, I think consistency. We got to get a little bit more consistency here. We have a lot of things going on, but we are going to start. You know, we had some great guests on there. We've had Mark Cuban, JJ Watt, Shaquille O'Neal. Hey, do we have Shaq, Scott? Okay. But we've had a bunch of good guests. I envision taking this on the road. Obviously, with COVID-19, it's been a little bit harder, but we're at the point now where we can kind of hopefully go different states and kind of take this thing and then do some vlogging behind the scenes of the making of the Zap podcast, and kind of, you know, with me not as much, hopefully, with the camera in my face, just point at Scott the whole time.
I heard in somewhere you said that your favorite person interviewed is Robert O'Neill. Is that true, or still is that like one of your best?
Yeah, Robert O'Neill. I like the guy. Like, I mean, Dakota Meyer, the Medal of Honor recipient, was great. He had a great story.
That's who killed Osama bin Laden.
So actually, Robert O'Neill was the one who put 3 bullets in bin Laden's head, which was just cool. And I met Robert in New York City. We went to UFC together it was the first fight that we went to. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and he was with his wife. And I never felt so safe in my life as Dakota Meyer walks in, and then I have the man on my left who killed Osama bin Laden, and I have the man that President Barack Obama awarded the Medal of Honor to. And I kept making the mistake of saying, dude, I cannot believe you won the Medal of Honor. He's like, yeah, you don't really win the Medal of Honor. You know, it's not something you win. You get awarded it. So I'm like, all right, got that.
We'll
we just went out. Robert loves to turn one up too. So those SEALs are fucking crazy ass, badass motherfuckers. And they know how to rage too.
They know how to get after it. No question. What about this is something we see on Instagram. You tease, you put out there a bit about your looking for dating, looking for relationships. Look like you kind of met someone. What is what's been your relationship sort of history?
I try and keep so I try and do is everything you see that I do on my stories and whatever. Nothing is fabricated. I never want to fabricate anything. I want to just show exactly what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. I try and continue the storyline. I'm not going to hold not show anything.
Right.
I want to show everything that's happening. I feel like I'm in the fucking Truman Show. It's like random, you'll go into like Starbucks and somebody will be like, hey, you got zapped last night. I was watching. I'm like, oh, I forget that I put my life out there.
Have you had any incidents where you are so like sometimes when you get really zapped, maybe even in the moment where you're putting or someone, have you had people show up or any kind of weird instance where people sort of know where you are, come to you and either they try to party or they're just a little weird? Like, have you had any
definitely? Yeah, it definitely happens. Yeah, when you get that, you got 2.8 million people out there. You never know. There's probably a couple serial killers waiting outside for me right now. You never know.
Right.
That's my biggest fear is like there's out of 2.8 million, I definitely get like 1 or 2 buried serial killers in there.
Yeah,
that's fucking
number. It's for sure. I mean, there's definitely not everything's gonna go perfectly smooth there. And what about the platforms that you think? Is there anything that's sort of undercover that you think is just like, for example, Twitch? I see you have a countdown going here, so you do stream on Twitch, but how often is
never?
That?
We don't use Twitch at all. We tried and it was just a lot. I have other projects that I'm working on.
Yeah. That kind of you're going live in 2 hours or 2 days. Is that not right? Or you?
No, I don't know what the fuck that means. Scott, we're going live in 2 days on Twitch.
Yeah.
All right, Scott, we're in. So I guess I'm doing an upcoming stream.
2 days. All right. So
see how good we are promoting our own shit.
Yeah, well,
I'm like, we're going live in 2 days. News to me.
Well, I guess I sort of like the Truman. That made me think of Twitch as well, because it's sort of like that, where it's just streaming. Justin TV now became Twitch, and sort of on the like the IRL stuff. Is that just something that you said, like you're saying, that's just not out of your the total pie of what you're doing? That just doesn't have a big chunk right now. But
I think it comes with like we have a smaller team, so with all this stuff, we just have to start expanding, and now is the time, and we're gonna put some real work behind expanding our team and making this bigger. My head will explode, and I'll need I'll need to take another mental break, which is what I call it. The guys will kill me, but yeah, we need to bring in some more people, and just then we'll be streaming on Twitch. We'll be doing that. We'll have other shows running. We'll have all the, the goals to kind of, it's like what Dave Portnoy did.
You're one guy. Like that's kind of thing. Like you said, it's all at once. How do you actually, do you sit back and just kind of do everything at once, and then you just take a break and look back and say, this is working and not, or do you kind of go with the plan? Like, are you like, all right, let's try everything and see what works? Or do you sort of more, script it, and at this point have enough things where you kind of know what works and doesn't? Are you still
depends. It depends. If it's show stuff and all that stuff, like, Scott is my right-hand guy and does a good job at that, and basically figures out all how we structure shows and how we do all that stuff. And he's not to blame if there's episodes that don't get out. I will take full responsibility that he's pushing me to do these episodes and whatnot. And I usually just think of stuff on the fly. And my favorite stuff to do is just like, even though there's no ways to monetize them really, but just to build up your I love doing those Instagram stories. To think that like you post something out there. If I post an Instagram story, like, 500,000 people are watching it every time. It's,
right.
Pretty fucking nuts. So that was what I enjoy doing. That's me, where I can control it. I have full control, blast my little phone around and do whatever the fuck I want.
And do you think with your style, and do you think that's realistic though, for like to call the World Series? Would that be like, so that would essentially be one of the ultimate goals? Like I could
call the World Series. I don't see like Fox or a network hiring me at this point. Because of just obviously my behavior and like the way I am and just whatever. I think that, like Buffalo Wild Wings was our first like kind of corporate deal that kind of opened up, be like, hey, Bob's been a great partner with B-Dubs. I think the world's kind of shifting a little bit to more of at least I think, that kind of barstoolish type stuff is working, and our stuff is working. And so, I think there's a way to announce these games without having to attach ourselves to a network. We're trying to figure out what that is, because obviously to acquire rights to NFL, NBA is very complicated and usually needs a third party involved. So who is that third party that you attach yourself with? Is it just the rights to Thursday football? We talked about that. It never happened. But eventually I see myself calling the World Series, Super Bowl, all of it, but probably not on like a national stage in a booth like fucking Al Michaels. all the time?
What's your point? What could I grab you for on the spot? Like, just what's a number for you? Like, just off the top of your head for something.
A number for what? To get paid?
Yeah, like to come and call like a fantasy draft and get zapped.
It just varies the mood I'm in, like obviously I am just a good dude, and sometimes that's why I get yelled at from my team, my manager and whatever, and agent. They, I do a lot of things pro bono for people, like I just like to try and make people's day, if they ask me to do it, like how much do we have to pay? If I'm in the mood, I'll be like, you don't have to pay me, just like make it easy for me, just fucking write out what you need me to do and I'll fucking do it for you. But otherwise, if it's like, hey, you got to travel to go and like commentate a fantasy football draft, normally I just make the number so high that it most likely won't happen. But if it does happen,
you'll run it.
I'll run it.
I guess I'm going. That I like that. I see you got what would you say your breakdown of clips are? Because I see here, there's soccer here, and I saw this clip today. Actually, guy just kind of a weird Talon movie moved and the guy's on a stretcher. But how do you ultimately decide like what sports do you go with, or just whatever clip is the most ridiculous and relevant at the moment? Like do you
like the way I do it is, like I'll watch a game. This is why no relationships have really worked for me, but I'll be watching a game, and when a moment happens, I'll get up from dinner. Like if I'm like I'll be eating, say hypothetically, with my girlfriend. Okay. We'll be talking. And,
are you in a relationship right now? You are an official?
Yeah, I'm dating. I'm dating this girl.
I don't know if you guys had moved. I know it seemed like it was sort of in the works, but I didn't know it was official. Or okay.
How could you say no to this, Jeff? How could you say no to this? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so she's in.
She's in. Now we don't know how long she's going to be in for, Jeff, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed because the 36-hour casino bender did not help. Let's just say that. So let's.
Okay,
we're gonna pull it back.
So if you're at dinner, you see sports over your shoulder, you're watching, and you see a good thing, you'll get up and go you'll just wing it right there on the spot.
Yeah, it's like hard explaining that to girls, like that I'm like trying to pursue dating, or girl I'm currently with. I'm like, hey, listen, at any given time, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna probably order it like an Uber, have the Uber driver get outside of the car, wait outside the car while I do my in the booth. That's where I feel most comfortable doing it, is in the car. It's where I started doing these clips, because I would have to, my dad and mom at 28 years old didn't want me to keep yelling obscenities because the neighbors were very close.
Right.
And so I had to go down to his car, shut the door, and be like, well, his dick fell off and his arm flew off his body. Wow, Peter, that's unbelievable. And so, yeah.
And you will, how many times do you actually call an Uber and use that as your studio for a live clip? You will do that?
Oh, a lot. Like a lot. Yeah, a lot. I mean, if I don't have like tons of times, like I'll just call the Uber, and the Uber, it's so funny. Like every interaction is the same. He gets there, he's like, hello, Mr. Menery, nice to see you. And because you got to order like an Uber Black to be able to do that. You got to get the big SUV, because like you just have a normal Uber X pull up, they're like, something shady's going on, like, so I'll be like, yeah, sir, I have to make a call. Can you please just wait outside the car? I'm going to take care of you. Just wait outside the car. And like normally I'm in a frantic mood, because obviously you want to be the first one to get it out, because the numbers do better. If you're like, a big moment happens,
makes sense,
you're the first one to be out there, that's good. So that's why, I'll jump up from a dinner table and for 10 minutes and do that.
So you order the car, you ask the guy to stay outside of the car while you're in the car doing this, and then
well, first of all, I don't want him in there. It would be weird as fuck. Like he's just like,
but like he's got. I mean, it's also weird for him. Probably he's never heard that request, most likely, and he might think you're trying to grab the car. No?
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing. There's definitely like sometimes like no. What are you talking about? No, I'm like, listen. All right, here's $100. Just get out of the car and go stand over there. Like they're literally. But I've never been said no to. I've always convinced.
Do you have to big time him ever? Do you have to show him your IG page?
No. I haven't had to, and I don't think like Uber driver would care.
They might not get it.
Yeah. They might not get it. So
yeah, that's.
I have 100% success rate of getting Uber drivers out of the car and me doing my clips in the car.
It's very calculated. You're right though. Use the XL. Go a little higher price point. Maybe. Yeah, I get it. That makes.
I'm street smart, Jeff. I'm not book smart at all.
Well, listen. I see you're making a lot of good decisions, and things are. It looks like it's.
That's up for debate.
Things are moving well for sure. What do you think right now as a sort of entrepreneur and just in general? What is the most exciting thing in sports? Do you like the daily fantasy stuff, the sports betting? What is the most interesting direction you think you could go with your talents? Like where do you think you're like really trying to put in?
I think being able to use the sports betting companies that, like, I mean, PointsBet we partnered up with obviously for the remainder of the NFL season, finding a way to implement them into some sort of what we're doing with commentary. And because they have deeper pockets and they might be able to obtain some of the rights of the stuff that we can't, take on ourselves. So, it's an exciting time. I mean, somewhat, as long as everybody gambles responsibly, the sports betting is everywhere, which shows you kind of where the world's going in a sense. It's just, so right now we're legal in 4 states. So we're going to go to Indiana, I think maybe this weekend. Scott's shaking his head, right? But go to Indiana and pump, be a good partner and pump sports gambling for PointsBet.
Very, very nice. And what about brothers, sisters, family? So you have your parents and they support you now at this point. Your mom's confused, excited.
Mom and dad support, sister, brother. They're great. And they got the niece and nephews who I just went home and saw, read them some children's books to put them to sleep in the voice. So it was good.
How old are they? Do they know you're sort of like a well-known internet personality?
Yeah, they're like 6 months. They're already aware of it. I already have them following it. They're 2 years old. They grab their finger, create an Instagram account for them. We got to brainwash the youth early.
Right.
What go ahead.
Social Dilemma. Have you seen that?
No.
What is like I mean, it's sort of your bread and butter and I mean, as well, I do a lot of social content and it's, it's like what we do. It's part of our whole plan and our whole situation. What do you think though about, I mean, you must be on your phone a lot. Like you're on Instagram, you're making connections, you're setting up stuff, you're constantly on your phone. Do you think there is a problem though? Cause like I kind of, it's like, I feel like we're almost cyborgs, like it's literally built into, I'm on my phone all day long. What do you think about this though? Like, do you have any, do you not even think about it? You're just kind of on it, or do you think this is a problem? I just saw that Social Dilemma. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment on like is that in particular. But all I know is that, I can only speak for myself, like anything else. I love what I do. A lot of what I do is on the cell phone. Are there times where I could be on it less? Definitely. So, but I mean, I'm in grind mode right now, and this is what's going to get just amazing. The power of this thing is, so crazy. But I'm on it probably a little bit more than I should be. But I mean, that's why the girl, it's like at dinner or something, they go out with a girl. That's where I put it down.
And
Otherwise, I'm just
if
getting
you
fucking
don't, then you're
zapped.
calling Uber and you're doing
Yeah, exactly. And then like I'll put it down for 10 minutes, and then they're like, touchdown! We've never seen anything like it. And my head like voomp, like to the TV, and I'm like, I'll be back, Mission Impossible style. Fucking run outside in the Uber and just do it.
Are you give me like on general, how many takes is there? Are you like a one take generally? It's the best, or sometimes you do a few on those? Because I mean, these are big.
I mean, what do you think? Peter and I do more than one take. If we do one take and it doesn't work, we got to treat this like live football. Then we throw it away.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think? We're sitting there editing things together, Scott?
I
What do you think? This is amateur hour?
I gotta know, man. I mean,
no, it takes us. It takes me sometimes like 1, sometimes 5, sometimes 10. If it takes more than that, I'm just like, I just give up.
And that's and you move on.
Like it's not. I'm not funny, and I just can't think of anything funny. I'm just like out.
I see here your number one guest would be Drake. Is that your like, was that the tops, like one of the ones? Is that true? I think you said that. Like, who are some of like
nope, never said that, Jeff. Never said that. Matter of fact, I fucking hate Drake. No, I'm just kidding. I would love to have Drake on our show. That'd be sick. My favorite guest that we've had on the show was Shaquille O'Neal on one other show, but Shaq already did our spelling bee, because when coronavirus first happened, like I told you, we held a game show every night because I didn't know how long the quarantine would last. So I'm like, everybody, we're told to stay inside. I'm like, let's stay inside together on the game show that I just thought of. And I would give people 30 seconds to find an item in their house, and they would run around the house looking for the item. And if they found it, they would win a prize. And we had different guests on there. Eric Stonestreet from Modern Family came on. Shaquille O'Neal, Watt came on. All the regular Steph Curry came on for us. That's we took the coronavirus shit very seriously in the beginning. And the problem was I told everybody that I would be doing the whole entire game show throughout the quarantine until the quarantine ends. And I had to pull the plug at some point because the quarantine is still kind of going on. So yeah, but we did a good 30 days of that game show. That was fucking fun.
How has the quarantine overall been for you? Because you did still go to Abu Dhabi. You're traveling around some now, but for a while it didn't. Like, do you think you got more stuff done? Did it help you kind of focus a bit more and do more, or just was it day to day the same for you? Did it change?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it allowed us to kind of we did stay in more, and we have been staying in more. We're not like wild fucking animals going out all the time, but I do travel for work, and I feel it's okay to travel for work right now. I'm a strong believer in that we have to keep businesses afloat in America 1,000%. Yeah,
I'm with you on that. What about live poker stops? Like, what would be something that have you ever gone to any of the stops? Obviously now things are paused a bit, but is that something like, do you like tournaments at all? Or you literally said heads up cash, but would you go and play? If we say Party Poker Bahamas, let's get Bob out, let's bring the whole team, let's set up podcast for the week, and you play the main event, like a 10K buy-in and stuff. Does that like get you excited or not really?
Yeah, I would do that. My only thing is I have the worst ADHD on planet Earth, so my attention span is.
We might set up a heads up table, like just like a heads up play Bob, like free roll you into like heads up games or something. Because
I'm down for anything.
The tournaments is definitely it's a grind. It's like a 5-6 day. You got to really dial it in for 5 or 6 days.
I don't see that happening, but I would do it. I mean, I heard Bahamas. I just got pretty excited there. I heard Bahamas.
I'll tell you what, Bahamar at the Bahamas, like have you been to Atlantis or anywhere there? Because the Bahamar is the brand new. It's like a Vegas style casino in Bahamas. Like it is pretty nice. It's not far. It's like 30 minutes from Miami, but
we did Baker's Bay. I think Baker's Bay is where I went. It was in the Bahamas, which was fun.
Yes, very nice place. Well, I think were you at the Casamigos party last year? Did you go to the Halloween?
Yes. Yeah, Melton does a good job of that party every year.
I know Mike and Will very well. They're great guys. They throw a hell of a party.
You never know though. The cool thing is you never know who's at that party because everybody's in costume, and you can be talking to somebody who is like fucking like Ryan Seacrest was just like, it's a weird name, but like Seacrest was randomly had this like mask on, no fucking idea. Leonardo DiCaprio's running around with like a Joker mask on. You can't tell it's him. He never takes the mask off. You have like Paris Hilton's there. You pretty much notice her. There's so many people that party's like stacked with every A-list fucking Hollywood person in planet Earth. You don't know who the fuck
they are. The best. They do the best. Like you mentioned Baker's Bay and El Dorado as well. It's like you'll go at Melman's house. There's just like
the Discovery property are crazy. They're just so well run.
That's next level. That's the top of the top. What about you? You've been known to, I think you've experimented with, what would you say is in terms of like drinking and drugs and what, have you gone to Burning Man? Have you ever messed around with some other?
No, I'm not a big drug person. It didn't do it for me. I like pills. Actually, I can never do any of that stuff. I'm not really. That's not. I like to have some cocktails, but and now the Burning Man stuff, not really for me. The hippie shit out in the middle of nowhere and just like running around naked with dirt fucking blowing everywhere on you. There's that Coachella, or that's
You're in the right.
Burning Man.
You're in the festival world. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've never tried it, but so I've never been to one of those things. But if I don't know, who knows? Never know. Maybe I'll like it.
And what about childhood friends in terms of people you grew up with? Do you see a lot of them? Are they part of your day to day? Have you had long term friendships like Timmy Bounceback? You met him in LA. How your core friends now? How much of those are brand new? And have you had people that you grew up with that you still get to see and hang out with? Is Timmy? I gotta know about Timmy, man. I love that guy.
That guy's
the best guy I've ever seen. He's just funny though. I mean, the guy is just a legend. I just want to wonder, is that like newer or is he like?
I mean, it can be easily arranged, Jeff, to hang out with him. I mean, it's only $220 for 5 days of time with him. So
is that how much his rate is? No,
$40 a day to hang with him.
Timmy's $220 for a 5-pack. No way. That's not his rate. That's not right.
That's his rate. $40. That's it. Get him a plane ticket. He'll come get zapped with you. We can arrange it.
That's but yeah. Have you is Timmy a newer guy?
I met Tim through Nick Swardson, who was the comedian, did a lot of all the Adam Sandler movies and whatnot. And Nick was just like, you guys are either going to not get along at all, or you guys are going to just really click. And we did. We clicked. Had the same vices and habits, and just fucking haven't left each other's side since. Timmy's my loyal good buddy.
And I got to ask you about sports cards. Have you seen this craze? I think we've talked very quickly about this. Yeah. You're into sports. Do you get it? Are you in this market at all? Do you think this is something? You think it's a fad, kind of rekindled, or do you think this is a real thing? Do you have any like you collect it all?
No, we just got done. Gary Vee, who was like a couple of years ago, I think, was one of the guys who kind of said where this sports market or sports cards business was kind of going, and he was kind of dead on with it. I have not really ventured into it. I know I'm in a group text with like 19 different people. I don't know who half of them are, and the whole entire time all they do is talk about the sports card phase, like the Pokemon. Some guys, the Pokemon cards, and I just can't get into another venture right now.
Yeah, it's you want to focus. You don't need to pick up too many new hobbies. But I'm just curious. So you have heard of it? You do think? I mean, I think it sort of ties in with the legalized sports stuff, and it just seems like it's becoming very popular. And Gary Vee for sure is one of the main guys that's been on it.
And Logan Paul just did did something too as well. The unboxing of the cards. I'm gonna definitely look into it and see if it's something that I think I could, makes funny, I guess, or something. I don't know. I'm definitely gonna look into it.
Yeah, that is I think it's definitely got a big future. Let's take, I've seen a lot of questions, a lot of similar ones I wanted to ask as well. Let's go over to Twitter. We got 4 $111 tickets given away. So
what's that mean? So we're giving away shit?
Yeah, shit's given away. I'm giving away. I might even give extra, but at $444 we got coming out right now. We got questions on here. I don't know if you can see these, or I'll read them. And yeah, tell me, who influenced you the most to transition into comedy? Was there anyone that sort of pushed you and said, you're a funny dude, like you should get into it? Or was this just something you just enjoyed and just sort of did?
It was just something I enjoyed and sort of did. I don't, nobody, I've had people that I look up to and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's a horrible answer to question 1.
Yeah, European or American football? Do you watch any of this high level soccer over in?
I can't fucking watch soccer. No, I mean, look, I'm sorry, all these soccer fans out there. I can't fuck with soccer. I've tried, just the ball being kicked around the whole time. I can't. American.
You want touchdown? You need plays. I
need fucking action. I can't.
A bicycle kick every like 10 games isn't gonna keep you.
Yeah, like once in a while, like some dude will flop. It'll be funny, but that's.
Okay.
I mean, no disrespect to all the soccer fans out there. I know there's a lot of them.
That's all good. No, hey, you got to call it how you see it. What about most memorable moment on your podcast? Did you ever something that just kind of blew your mind, or in the moment you couldn't do it? Like,
yeah,
Timmy.
Yes, when Timmy Bounceback was absolutely fucking hammered for the Ryan Lochte interview. Ryan Lochte was the guy for the swimmer, I think Olympian gold medalist. He also did that stuff in Brazil though that he kind of got in a little bit of trouble for, and I had to talk to his agents for like 2 hours being like, this is a very professionally run thing, we're going to buy the books, blah 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 blah, and then told Timmy like, hey, last minute on Sunday we have this interview we have to do, and he got absolutely fucking hammered before it. And so I got him before we're going to the interview, just got done telling this agent guy that everything's gonna be buttoned up like really well. We show up and I'm like, please, like, let's have this go smoothly. And I'm like, I hope nobody's here in the studio. I walk in and fucking Spider-Man's right there. Tobey Maguire's just chilling in there. And Kevin Conley, who was our producer at the time. And I was just like, Kevin, we have an issue. Timmy is blasted. He's like, what do you want to do? You want to keep him in the interview? I'm like, kind of do. And so Timmy had thought that Ryan fucked his ex-girlfriend and was just hell-bent on that. And I think he probably did, which is hilarious. So they got in the room and Timmy just went nuclear. In the clip online, dude, it's the funniest fucking thing you'll ever see. And Ryan is so uncomfortable. And Ryan's the man, dude. He's like, talk about a kid who just like dealt with such a hard situation with after what had happened, just the shit he took for that, and how he's bounced back with family and all that. But Timmy was lit up for that interview and it was classic. So that was my favorite moment.
That's on the internet. You can see him going.
Oh, dude, I will. I just don't know where it is, but it's buried somewhere. But I can find it.
I've known Ryan a long time, and I could see how that could get. Actually, in Brazil, I remember during the Olympics when that happened, that was definitely a big deal. That thing really blew up.
Blew up big.
That thing did go up. So okay, you cover your favorite sports. What about playing? Do you play sports at all? Do you actually like? If you go out, do you mess around, play basketball?
I enjoy playing golf. I'm a good basketball player. I was little. I was a smaller guy. I was like 5'8", so couldn't really. And in high school, I was like fucking 4'9". I had a late fucking. I was a late bloomer. And couldn't. I was too small to play any real sports, so I just ended up, kind of switching to golf, which was golf on the golf team, but I was shitty on that too. So.
What about favorite comedian? Someone asking Chappelle, Chris Rock. Who do you kind of lean towards? Or anyone's comedy you just kind of you gear towards more that you shift and like stylistically? Any ones you love growing up, comedians?
Yeah, I mean, I love Nick Swardson. I think Nick Swardson's stand-up comedy is fucking hilarious. Bill Burr's obviously up there. Who else do I like? Adam Devine. Is that or Andy? Why do I fuck up his name every time? Adam, and he's like a massive star, but for some reason I just can't get it right. Adam Devine from Workaholics is fucking hilarious as well.
What about man, this is kind of serious. These guys are going serious questions here. Who had the biggest impact on your life? Is there anyone that sort of like there was like a moment you were down and out, or just sort of like gave you some advice, or just something that stands out that really, or parents, anyone that really just has had the biggest impact for you?
I'm going to give a boring answer and say my parents, my mother and father that were there for me, that took me back in, and at the lowest time of my life. So,
and that's all right. No, hey, listen, that's me as well. What about stress? You have multiple tasks. You get asked. I ask you on the fly. Can you come do a podcast? You got other stuff planning. You get get a little stressed out. Stuff gets overwhelming. How do you meditate? Do you work out every day? What's sort of like your go-to routine, or do you just do so much different things that you don't really have like a set everyday routine? It's one day to the next.
I do a 5-mile hike every day.
Okay.
Just no, I don't. It's just mass chaos, and relying on my guys to keep me in line because I am a loose cannon, and so the stress level. Yes, there is tons of stress that come with this shit because you're getting kind of pulled at from every direction if you have any sort of clout, I guess, at this point. I don't know. And so you don't know who to trust at times or whatever. So that stresses you out. And, but I'll play some golf sometimes to get my mind off shit. And sometimes I'll play poker. Actually, sometimes I'll play to get my mind off shit online.
Nice. And what about, would that be one of your biggest hobbies then? Is it poker? Is that like with just spare time? You like to kill time and relax?
Not really, no. I mean, I'm just a workhorse. Like I love to work. I love to just so I'm always fucking doing something towards my business. My kind of getaway time would be just when I spend time with the girl. Like if I'm dating a girl at the time, that'll be my getaway.
And what are your greatest strengths? What do you think? You got golden voice. You're a workaholic. You work hard. What are some of the things, the attributes that you think you've been able to be successful and sort of build up? Because I mean, again, this happened quick. You go viral, and now you got a podcast. You got your store. You got your team. Like you find yourself as you're street smart. You said,
yeah, I'm a good networker. I'm a very good networker. I think I'm good at like using 6 degrees of kind of separation to put this person together, that person together. I need to get to Dana. Well, I got to get to Dana through this person, through this person, through this.
And let's see, some interesting questions here. A lot of poker questions. I think people get. Oh, did we lose? I think you froze for a sec. Yes, I think. Let's see. like in terms of being recognized, like is it to the point now if you're in LA, you pretty much go out and are people recognize you, get autographs, pictures? What do people want when they meet you? What do they generally go for? Is it just pictures at this point?
Autographs in my life, and I'm like, what the fuck would you ever want an autograph for? It's the weirdest thing. So 2 autographs I think I'm up to. Definitely if I go to a sporting event, like a sports game, which doesn't happen anymore, definitely, get noticed. LA really not so much because nobody really gives a fuck. We'll go to different state. It'll like, I walk down the street sometimes and people will just be like, hey, Bob. And I'll just be like, hey. So it happens a little bit, definitely. But I'm no Elvis. That's for sure.
And in terms of the sports season, I saw people asking about asterisk. What do you think? You follow the games, you're watching sports closely. What do you think of the NBA bubble and sort of in general? What do you say about this season in sports? What do you think? Does that change you as a sports fan? Do you think it's like all just what it is, or is it kind of bizarre?
I think when I go to sports, I want to be reminded that we're not in a pandemic, and I think the NFL has done a great job of that. The NBA did a good job too, but they just need to get rid of those fucking virtual fans. Like that killed me. I would have just had those guys fucking street ball playing, like it's weird seeing people like, yeah, in the wind. Like, it's like, no, we're in a pandemic. Don't remind me that we're in a fucking pandemic here. Baseball, I think just dead. The sport is struggling right now, I think. Football, nobody knew going in because there was no preseason how when the Chiefs played that first game, how it would look, but it feels real. So football is doing a good job. I don't know why, like it's just the way they implement the crowd noise and whatnot. So yeah.
And what would let's see. So if you could choose right now, if you could choose one thing, if you said in like the next 5 years, what would be your actual, like, to say, I really did it? Like, do you have a goal in terms of what you want to accomplish? Like, other than, we mentioned being a baseball, commentating the World Series, something like that. Is there anything that really is something that you aspire to, or that you're like, I want to do 100, I want to do 1,000 podcasts. I want to do this. Like, what do you measure your success by currently?
I think a cool goal would be being the voice of like a video game, which I think we might be getting done. I think I might be the commentator on the new video game NFL 2K, which is pretty cool. So we're hopefully that would be something that I think would be like I did it kind of in a sense, like that's cool little bucket list thing. Obviously create some sort of this stupid fucking R-rated sports network that I keep referencing. Figuring that out would be cool. And yeah.
Do you think, like, how do you feel at this point? You get mainstream guests, you have, people know who you are. You definitely have a very strong following. Do you feel that people like Joe Buck, who also, Discovery Properties, I met Joe a few times down in Cabo, and a good guy, like he's like the face of this. Do these guys, sportscasters, do they take you serious? Are they worried about you? Do they think you're like, wow, like
for their gig?
Like, do they take, because I mean, it just seems like it's just such a different thing, right? It's such a different angle and place you're coming from in technology, and just social media now has changed so much. Like, do they respect you or think of you as someone that could come in and just yank their spot? Or do you think?
I don't think they're threatened in any way, shape, or form for their job. I think their job is safe, but I definitely know there's a couple of them that fuck with me. Joe and I have played golf a few times on the golf course, and it is definitely weird, because I'll always try and one-up him. He'll be walking down the fairway and he'll be talking like, great shot over there, John, good shot. And he just sounds like you're watching. It's like you're in. When you play golf with Joe, like you're walking ahead of him, he's walking behind you, and you just hear the voice. And it's not like turned on at all. It's just naturally when he talks. And so I'm just like, dude, this is like the fucking Bears-Packers game on Fox. It's fucking weird being around Joe Buck. And but I always try and one-up him. If he's like, good shot, John, I'll be like, good shot, John, like, while we're playing. So
yeah,
he knows that there is a chance, very, very small. It's the same likelihood of me dying from coronavirus, of taking his spot.
But you're on the radar. The guys know you're there. I actually saw Hank Haney was talking about, I think Phil Mickelson did commentary at some golf recently, and he was like so good. I don't know if you saw this or know what I'm talking about. Like, he just came in the booth and like dominated. And at least from Hank's perspective, he was saying that, it was the best sportscast thing he's ever seen. Like, the guy, it's just, he crushed these guys, and like they were, it was like awkward. How great.
Yeah, Phil's funny dude. We played a little money game up at Rancho Santa Fe, his course. He chipped in on me like 4 times. I was getting like 22 strokes. Guy just fucking made everything. He's just Phil Mickelson. Then I realized he's Phil Mickelson. Like, you shouldn't be playing this game. Right. And so it lost that one. It wasn't too fun.
Yeah. And what about favorite places you've been? So you go to Abu Dhabi, you said you didn't get to really enjoy it, spend a lot of time. Do you love travel? Is this part of like the whole
I
thing for
love,
you?
I love. It comes with the ADHD. I love just being on the move, and I don't. It's hard for me to get really, really content in one place for some reason. And so I really actually enjoy just going to football games in other state, like randomly. Like, hey, let's just go to like the Cardinals Rams game in Arizona. Like, let's just go. Like,
Yeah.
like random sporting events. Obviously, when they were happening, were awesome. But now, like my buddy Chaz just went to the World Series, and he's like, we had our own section. It was like it was weird being there. It's
Right.
like not enough fans. So when
What,
that's
what-
back,
what's the most your favorite spot? Like what city you go if you're like, all right, there's a game, my team's playing, I'm not missing. What's the best stadium or city that you like to go party and have a good time?
Chicago 1, Denver 2, and Boston 3. Why are you shaking your head at me? Oh, I thought you were laughing about the thing. Sorry, Scott was shaking his head. I thought he was thinking that I'm going to go back to Chicago or Denver, where Christina is. I promise you, I'm not going back, Scott. But yeah, those two, Denver and Chicago. But Chicago's shutting down, I guess now, which is so sad.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't even
hard
know.
to
I
keep
mean, the
track.
look in people's eyes when you go to these different cities and see their businesses just crumbling. It's like
It
horrible.
is. It's out. It is terrible. And in terms of what about? And it's early, new. You're in a relationship at the moment or dating. What do you think about the prospect of marriage, children? Do you have
God.
you ever thought about that? Do you want
Oh
to?
my God, are you fucking kidding me, Jeff? Imagine me with a child right now. I have to get more mature. I have to get my shit together. I can barely take care of my fucking self.
Well, I'm not
Dude,
saying tomorrow. I'm saying like, is that in the future? Is that something you would like to have a family at some point? Is that like, or do you just not literally haven't thought about it? You're just
honey, did you feed the baby? It's like 4 days later. I'm like, fuck, I
I
forgot.
got a year and a half and all. I gotta say it is different. It's a different lifestyle, man. I was running around. I was getting, I had an 8-year good run and just had a good
Yeah,
time.
Jeff, that's gonna be yes. I'm looking to bring some structure into my life and find a nice woman that can take care of me, and I'll take care of them, and we can raise a family together and ride off into the sunset on fucking horses.
That's
That's
your
the goal.
that's the future play, right? You'll be
Yeah,
calling the World Series and be at home and go.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. We got the end game. That's good. What about Europe? You've been around the world and
No, I haven't traveled outside the country,
you
except
haven't
for
been outside the US?
no, Abu Dhabi was the only time. I
No
stay in the States. I'm American. I love it. I have not traveled outside the country now.
But what about man? It's too bad you don't like the soccer is not your thing. But what about going to a big game like some big European game in Rome or somewhere? And would you?
Yeah, I would do. I would do it. I mean, like I said, work comes first always. If there's not something involved with like work, then I don't like to usually do it. Like I don't like to just go on vacations. Um, but I mean, I would love to travel outside to go see a big sporting event. I love sports, like I said, so definitely would be down to do that.
Do you, based on your viewership and your numbers, is it? I mean, U.S. is like your main focus on sports. Are you primarily U.S. or like do you have like a random city that just kind of loves you? Like does Brazil, their energy? Do you think you got any people that just kind of you're surprised? You look at your metrics and you're like, oh, that's weird. Rio, Sao Paulo's fucking love.
Yeah, I think it's like 4% Chicago, like 3.3% New York. It's Chicago, New York, Boston are the top three for me, and then like Australia, I have Canada. I have a very LA too, but Canada is definitely where I have a lot of people that fuck with our shit, and also in Australia. So, and then there's one like dot in like northern Syria. There's like an ISIS member just following me, waiting for to kill me. That's my paranoia.
They got their eye on you. Who would you say is the most influential like athlete? Who in the moment you believe is just someone that's like just doing it right from from what you've seen, whether it's how they carry themselves with business and just someone that you look at and you're like, wow, this guy's like not as only is he one of the top stars in the world, but he just like he's built a brand, he's done a really good job. Is there any athletes that really impress you, like with their overall sort of how they handle and do everything that they do? Is there anyone that jumps out at you?
Mm, I think as bad as Saquon Barkley was actually we lived with Saquon for like 4 months. We were his fucking roommate, which is the funniest thing ever. But
What do you mean you live like wow, you actually live?
yeah, when did we live with Saquon, Scott?
What do you mean we like your whole the podcast? You guys had the podcast and
We invaded Saquon Barkley's house and we lived there for like 6 months. Yeah, so we I ended up living with Saquon and Sterling Shepard, who was the wide receiver for the Giants, and it was the three of us and Cuz, who was his manager at the time, and it was just very interesting. I mean, I like to go out and party. Saquon needs to train for football, so I'd have to like sneak into the house at 2 a.m. like when he was sleeping, not try and set the alarms off. But we were roommates. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Connect Four, never play that guy in Connect Four. He's very good. But Saquon Barkley, I think, has done a pretty good job with what the hand he's been dealt. Like as far as these injuries, it sucks. Like I mean, he's the hardest working guy on the planet, and he's like the best dude in the world, and just two fluky fucking injuries that just suck. That he had such a monster first year that it's just a shame. So hopefully next year he gets back on the field and he can finish the season. You know,
He just blew up his Connect Four future too, right? He could literally.
And he's like he'll act like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he'll play you for money, and he'll just ice you. I learned stay away from Saquon Barkley and Connect Four.
Interesting. Everyone's got their thing. I've never the Connect Four shark. I've never heard that, but that's
like I'm just so dumb. Like I'm like dropping things in random places. And
what's your secret game? What's your like beer pong? What's it called? You have any of those games like cornhole? Any games that you're just like like freakishly good at? Do you have any games that you just don't lose? Like do you have a go-to game like drinking game?
Like a drinking game? Is that what you said?
Any
beer pong. You can't fucking touch me in beer pong.
Really?
I feel like kind of douchey saying that because I'm not a college. I got to like keep reminding myself I'm 33. I'm not a college frat boy anymore. I don't want to lose that. Or actually, not frat.
Hard to let go of that. I think everyone. It's like beer pong, poker, sex. Everyone thinks they're the best. Like that. I just feel like beer pong. A lot of people think they're really, really good. But that's.
I'm not gonna be the best at sex. Like actually, like I just had a good talk with Julie Rose about this. You know, I got called up by my ex girlfriend. She's like, you know, you're just not good in bed. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, wait. Then I think about it. I'm like, yeah, I just kind of am pretty fucking lazy. And so yeah, definitely new chicks have been sliding the DMs lately.
And how do you think? How does that work with the DM game these days and being sort of in and out of relationships? Does that slow them down? Do the girls slow down at all, or do you get kind of still? Does it make them want it more?
Fucking be there. The girls got to be there in the first place in order to slow down. They are the DMs. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll get a girl to slide in there, but normally it's me just firing away on Instagram models. Normally it's me just blasting a general message to like 300 Instagram models, and then like maybe like 5 or 6 get back to me.
That was before, but now you're in a relationship. I
really am. Like I really am following the rules. Like I mean, I'm following the rules with this one.
Right. That's awesome. And what is Ripper Magoo, man? I got to ask, the Zap podcast, Ripper Magoo, Zap, these are Zippy Zap, these things are
fucking nobody knows. It's lingo. Ripper Magoo started off, it meant cocaine in the beginning.
Okay.
Then we had to change it because of different deals we were getting. So we just were like, used to being cocaine, and now it doesn't. It means having a great time. I guess is this thing. So it's like a weird slogan that we created, just clicked. We got everybody yelling in at golf events for some reason. It just started to go popular, that phrase. And so we just slapped it on some t-shirts, and we consider it like Ripper Magoo Nation. Like all the people that fuck with us and all the stuff, people that have came on our game show, people that support our brand is Ripper Magoo Nation.
And how do you sort of censor that? How do you sort of censor with the, you got Buffalo Wild Wings, getting some mainstream stuff. Your stuff's a little out there, you call and you say what's on your mind. You have fun. It's definitely R-rated, as you mentioned, trying to do some R-rated stuff. So like, where do you sort of hone that in? Like, where do you draw the line where you're like, man, I got to say this because I know it's right and it's funny and it's what's on my mind, but also, man, I gotta, maybe I'm moving towards World Series commentator with Buck. Like, where do you kind of how do you calibrate that?
Yeah, I think that like I am trying to become better at just not giving a fuck. And if like where the world's going, like if Buffalo Wild Wings isn't okay with like me being like a comedian or attempted trying to be, and like I think that I have a little bit of like a little longer leash, I guess, or whatever. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but I don't really give a fuck anymore about anything. I'll say and do whatever I feel, and obviously certain things you just shouldn't say, and I don't say them. But yeah, I really don't. I'm trying to just not give a fuck anymore, because I think that's just the way I want to live my life, is just being able to say and do what I want. And I'm not afraid of this stupid cancel movement or whatever it is, or people getting canceled and all this shit for stuff. Like I'm just going to do what I want to do.
It's kind of absurd that you can.
But I'm a good guy at the end of the day. I know that. So like, I know that I'm doing the right things. I know I'm like always when I meet people or I do something, I'm always like, if people message me or whatever, like people will tell you, I respond to these guys, tell you I respond. I'm spending all my time on my phone a lot of times responding to people. Somebody's reaching out to me. They're like, hey, I'm dealing with an issue. I have this problem. I have this drug addiction. I have this anything. Like, I'm very hands-on with my people. I really, really like value each and every single one of the people that follow me. Like, and I'll try and literally engage with every single one of them. And it's 2.8 million of them. So, but I'll do my best to try and do that. And so
that brings me. I saw this thing I saw with Kevin Hart where it was a really funny segment about someone's talking about saying no, and he's just like, I don't care. Like he's like, I just say no. Like, because at some point you just get asked to do too much and you don't want to do it. How do you find you have a problem saying no to people, like stuff you don't want to do and being too nice, and just sort of like accepting things? Like, how do you sort of, at some point you have so many conversations, dialogues, and stuff going on. How do you deal with that? And just, if you just don't want to do something.
I mean, in the moment, if somebody asks me, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, we should figure it out. Yeah. Then just pray it never happens. But there's other times where, yeah, it's hard to say no to people. I don't like it. It sucks when somebody asks you for a favor, but you just can't, you can't do every favor.
You can't say no. I mean,
I'm not saying no to you. I would never say no to you and ever. So
it's very nice, man. I will say I'm glad that we got introduced, and it's been it's good to know you. I love seeing what you're doing. It's a lot of fun and watching you kind of grow and do this path. I think it's great, and I think the world needs more humor, comedy, light spirit, and it's definitely a tricky time out there right now. It's kind of just weird. It's a bizarre time. It's a bizarre year, and I think you're bringing laughter, and people are enjoying what you're doing. I just want to kind of close up here and let you tell us again what you got coming up and what your most focused Zap podcast. Where across different outlets. Where other is Apple? Where
Spotify, Apple, all those different places. YouTube, we're going to start popping on there as well. But the Zap podcast is the most thing we're passionate about right now. If you're there, great to like and subscribe it. We have a fun show. We have obviously some great guests that come on, all random, all over the place. But it's a great little group of just banter, a little locker room talk, and anything goes.
And are your shows live, or they're all recorded, and do they all get pushed through?
There's too much liability in this room for a live. We never know what Scotty or Aaron's going to do. So we don't do them live yet, but they're pre-recorded, and we release them when we are on a good schedule 2 times a week, and then we'll go missing a little bit, but we're going to try to prevent that from happening. But I feel like it's the definition of insanity. We keep fucking having a couple episodes we miss, but yeah.
All right, and last one, out of all the clips that you've done, all the sports moments, what do you think was the best? Just the whole thing, the
right
clip,
and that one right there. Joe Flacco was the one where his head fell off. That was the one. Down a little bit, down to right there, up, boom. The one with the helmets, the white shirt and the purple shirt. Yeah.
Okay, that's
the one right there that I think was most popular. There's some other ones that I don't really listen to it back after I do it. I just have too much anxiety hearing my own voice, and so. But there's some funny ones in there. I think some of them aren't funny, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's it's very, very interesting, and it's funny too. Like, what about and the last question I'll ask, in terms of what you've found that works and doesn't, how big is the algorithms and all this? Like, is it the time you do it? Because you're just on the fly, you see it, you do it, but do you like save stuff or try to put it out at a certain time, or do you just sort of wing it whenever it comes, you just fire it out?
Whenever I kind of just fire it out. There's times where you're just not supposed to like post shit out because it does fuck with the algorithms if it doesn't do well, but like I do anyway because I'm an idiot. So like, posting at like 3 a.m. when nobody's awake is obviously not smart. So normally when Sunday night football is happening, all that, anytime football's on, we try and post and be engaging as possible. So yeah.
All right. Well,
what is this?
This is a retweet giveaway, man. We're giving away $444 right now. I'm going to give away.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah, we're going to do one right now on your command, and then there'll be 3 more that'll follow. If you guys want to ask a question for Bob Menery, you can go and retweet and follow the instructions to be eligible. So this is going to be $444 giveaway. Who doesn't like a good giveaway? So we're going to do one to close it down here, and you tell me when, and someone is going to win this 111. And
what do I tell you when to stop?
You just tell me when, and I'm going to click it, and it's going to roll and populate it. We should have a wheel. It's more fun, I think. But
the wheel of zaps.
Yeah, we got to have something else. But you just tell me when, and someone's going to win it.
Okay. Now.
So it's a lot. There's a lot of questions, a lot of engagement. This thing's loading up. Someone's about to win the 111. And Bob, I'm committed, man. I'm telling you, once poker's back, I'm going to get you to the Bahamas with the sweetheart deal. I want to bring all the guys around you seem like fun. I would love to bring the Zap podcast to do Bahamas week, and we could figure out something. If a tournament's not for you, we'll figure something out. But I'd love to
I'm all in for that. It's like one of those things. Remember, like, you got to we commit to it, and hopefully it doesn't happen. No, I'm just kidding. I'm being an asshole. I would love to go to the Bahamas with you guys, and I'd love to play you in poker ASAP. Heads up, stream it, and fuck you up in poker.
We can do all the above, man. I see you're on Twitch that you didn't know about. That's in 2 days. So, guys, if you didn't know, Bob knows now. He's gonna be live on Twitch. Give him a follow, Bob Menery. If I'm on, I'll host you when I'm done. And it's maybe the one thing you got to work. We got to get your Twitch up, man. If you're gonna do it, might as well.
I haven't even attempted. I don't even know what it is. But I'll do it. I'll do it for you, Jeff. I'm gonna start doing Twitch.
Bob, I love it, man. I appreciate you. Number 100 in the books. Thank you so much for the time. I'll see you, I'm sure, at some poker tables. We'll battle. And cheers, man. Zap Podcast legend in the house. Appreciate you, bro. Have a good one.
Jeff, you are the fucking man. I love you, buddy. I wish I was more awake for you on this one. I just got off the 17-hour jet lag. I was a little fucking.
I would have pushed it back. That was my fault. I didn't realize 11 a.m. Pacific is aggressive, honestly, because I know you were just traveling and you go out, and if Timmy's around or anyone's around, you could
it was just too many variables. We got to just lock it in next time.
It should have been a nighttime thing, but listen, we'll do it.
I had a blast, dude. You're the man, and this is a lot of fun.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time. So,
all righty, brother. Take care.
Have a great one. All right, guys, that's Bob Menery, podcast number 100 in the books. Again, give him a follow. All the different socials. We are done with the 100. We got 100 plus more coming. A lot of exciting guests coming up. I really appreciate your guys' support. We've got more tickets to give away, as I can show you here. We are going to give away another 3 people are going to win $111 big the one-shot ticket from Party Poker. We got more from the last podcast as well. We had Josh Luber on the other day, and there's still 3 more of those pending. So if you guys got questions for them, drop it in. We also have our pinned schedule tweet you guys can see. So another 2. So we got still 8 more of these tickets to give away. That is on my Twitter account. I really see a lot of familiar faces. I appreciate you guys being here. And seriously, thank you so much. It's been a blast. 100 podcasts. I can't say how much I've enjoyed it. It really has been a learning experience. And I'm trying to, the Twitch streamer in me loves to talk, trying to get better, find better questions, and engage with you guys more on what you want to hear with these guests. And we got a lot of interesting people coming up. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I'm grateful to Party Poker, grateful to you guys watching, grateful to Vadrin, Ghost of M, Oliver, all the people that are involved helping out with our stream, Colette, Vadim, and everybody at Party Poker, Rob Young, to make stuff possible. And we do a lot of giveaways, and we got to thank Party Poker for that as well. And again, I love talking to people. I love listening to people. I love seeing what makes people tick. And, again, Bob Menery for the 100th, really do appreciate that. We've had so many amazing guests in these first 100, and I hope to do a lot more. So again, guys, you're the best. I appreciate you, and all the best. Enjoy the weekend coming up, and I'll be streaming on Twitch over Sunday, as well as doing some more podcasts the coming week. And we got a lot more action. If you guys go over actually to our podcast channel, I'm going to show you guys. We can just do a quick kind of run through on the 100. I mean, if you guys take a look here. So again, we do have Jeff Gross Poker, but this is Jeff Gross podcast channel. You can kind of see we have a mixture of guests, actors, comedians, CEOs, business people. We've had poker champions, you name it. We've had quite a list and a cast of characters, some repeats, and we'll have some more coming as well. So that's what you guys can check out. And again, Jeff Gross Podcast on YouTube. As you're watching, it's on all the different outlets. And again, much love. Appreciate you guys so much, and good luck in the giveaways. I'll see you on the tables very soon.